Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Thank you, KK Arnold. It's Phil and Ryan on Listen Up. And Rye, this news from a couple days ago, we should have been on it, but there's been so many last check-ins, so many incredible games to recap that we figured we'd come on with everybody on this kind of beautiful, cloudy, gloomy Tuesday, November 25th, 2 days shy of Thanksgiving. Ryan, I'm sure this is the last time we see everybody and the last time I see you before we gather around the dinner table. And I don't even have to say anything else. You already love that menu. It only comes around once a year in the Macy's parade. Oh my goodness. So excited just thinking about it. But I'm so excited thinking about this too because, Rye, we have a new face on the way to UConn. And this is credit the CT Insider for bringing this one out. UConn women's basketball adds recruit Jovana Popovic. 5 things to know about the Serbian guard. Right? They broke it down. Now we're going to hear what Ryan has, what you think about the Serbian guard. But first of all, just to give you a little preview, they said she's a big time scorer. They said number two, she's teammates with Vukosa, or she once was, I assume. International trendsetters. Now this one's interesting, right? Because Ariema and the UConn program, they keep targeting international prospects. So I'm curious what your take is on that. Experience with Serbia. She has that experience. And then what Gino said. Now, very quickly, he said, and I quote, Jovana is a high-level guard with a lot of experience. She can handle the ball. She's a playmaker. She can score. Jovana is a really nice kid who will fit in great with our team. And I'll tell you this much. I'll leave it to you, Rye. I think all our beautiful subs, they fit in very well with this Listen Up team because Austin, Anita, and all of them, we appreciate them all. Ryan, the number is up to 3.32.
Yeah, I feel like I say it now every time we go on, but the support has been insane so far this season, the first month of the season. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and we definitely appreciate you guys a lot. And I guess happy Thanksgiving since this is the
Happy
last time we'll be on
Thanksgiving.
before
Yes. Yeah.
Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hopefully everybody
Mm-hmm.
can gather around some good food and family for the holidays. But yeah, new recruit. UConn adds one more name to the 2026 recruiting class. Jovana Popovic joins
Mm.
Olivia Vicosa in the class of 2026 signings. That means UConn only has one more scholarship spot remaining for next year. Whether they fill it or not, obviously yet to be seen. But Popovic will become the first ever player from Serbia to play for UConn. So another name added to the list of first timers playing from another country outside the US. And somehow Gino and this UConn scouting team continues to find talent outside of the US, finding players that not too many people have heard of, and they turn out to be great talent. So hopefully that's the case with Jovana. And Gino commented on her game, like you saying his quotes. So Gino obviously is very high on her and speaks very highly of her already. She can handle the ball. She's a playmaker. She can score. And that's basically what UConn needs. Playmakers that know how to score no matter what role they will have on the team. And Popovic will just be 18 years old when she comes to Stores next year. She brings a lot of big playability. And so far, through her first 5 games in the Serbian Basketball League, she's averaged 26 and a half points per game. And she's a guard that can facilitate the ball to her teammates. And speaking of teammates, like you also mentioned, she actually played with Olivia Vicosa in Portland this past summer when they were both invited to play in the 2025 Nike Hoop Summit. So Popovic already has a lot of experience. I'm sure it will take a little bit of time for her to get used to the UConn system and playing basketball in the US and at the college level. But I'm excited to see what kind of impact she can make next season. So there's a lot of hype surrounding both of these 2026 recruits. UConn maybe still in play to get Jersey Robinson to fill out the whole 2026 team for next year. But I think the Huskies, if they don't get anybody else, I think they'll be pretty satisfied with Vicosa and Popovic.
All right, Ryan. Great job. We'll get into comments in just a few minutes. And of course, we have to come back, I guess, immediately following Thanksgiving, right? I guess we'll see everybody's beautiful face Friday morning because we have a last check in for that game on Sunday as we get down into, you said, big conference play coming up. So, shout out to Mr. Walsh, Rye. He's a trending reporter and audience producer, originally from New Jersey. He studied journalism, sports media at the University of Florida. So, very nice article, and he really great depth and great analysis of this new face that UConn is about to get in Jovana Popovic. So, great job, and we appreciate him a lot for writing this. Right, just your take very quickly. I have to ask you and everybody else drop your comment in the section below. You said that even if UConn doesn't get anybody else, they have to be satisfied with what they received or what they signed at the class of 2026, that is. Now, this says Papovic will join top recruit Vukosa, like we're aware, in stores next season. And that leaves just one scholarship to fill in the 26th class. So if you are looking for one more new face, in your opinion, or is it too early to tell, what position do you target? There has to be just one that Rye's thinking, man, we need that more than anything else right now.
Yeah, it's tough because the 14 players that UConn already has for next year are already pretty good, and I feel like they're already pretty deep at every position on the floor. So that's why I say if UConn ends up not filling out the team, I think they'll be just fine. I don't really
Yeah.
think there's any sort of position they would need to target to fill out that last spot. But I know there's been a lot of talk around Jersey Robinson. I believe she's
Mm.
pretty high up on the board for 2026 in the top 10, I believe. So she would definitely be a nice addition to fill out that last roster spot. But yeah, we'll just see, and hopefully we find out some more news during the season about her signing, or maybe another surprise signing, another overseas player.
Cannot wait. And all the episodes yet to come about the new faces arriving in UConn. Oh my goodness. You just get chills thinking about it, right? I know you have them going down your back, right? Let's go over to the disruptive one from the last video, right? He said the commentators were awful for this game. They knew nothing about UConn and kept saying things that were arguably not true. And they talked about things other than the action on the court. Absolutely appalling commentary. Well, Ryan, that's interesting because that came from the last episode. Your thoughts on the Huskies versus Utah and that big win that UConn got, but we usually don't receive comments about the commentators.
Yeah, I think that might be a first. I definitely really appreciate the Big East reporters. I always used to watch the games on the Fox Sports app on my phone, and the Big East reporters for UConn always did such a great job. I don't think they're actually going to be doing it anymore. I'm not sure if I'm correct on that or not for this season. But I think the commentators. They did pretty good, I thought, for the Friday night game versus Michigan. I don't really have a comment on the commentators for Sunday night's game, but I suppose some might be better at what research they do, and others maybe not. But I guess depending on certain networks, perhaps they don't have as much research or knowledge about the teams playing.
The buzz continues about Blanca, Ryan. UConn Nation 12 says, it won't surprise me if Blanca becomes a starter soon. Williams isn't nearly as strong as Blanca offensively and makes up for the height difference and defensive tenacity. No disrespect intended, but Williams is pretty much El Alfie's twin talent-wise.
Yeah, I think it's been a little disappointing so far for Sarah Williams. I think she does okay in the starting lineup, but it seems like to me throughout the first half of this season, or the first part of this season, so far. It seems like Williams gets involved in the first quarter and they try to feed her the ball to get her on the board and get the offense started. And it seems like after that, she's really nowhere to be found, and she doesn't really get into the game a lot in the second half. It seems like so. We're obviously really deep at the forward position down low, and the resurgence of Blanca, I think, has definitely played a factor in the limited minutes that Williams is getting. She's only tending to get in 15 to 20 minutes so far per game, Williams that is. But like they said, Blanca and Yana Alfie are certainly, I think, playing a factor in why Williams probably isn't getting as many minutes as what the other starters are getting.
Just me. Thanks for the post-game show, Rye. I thought UConn would dominate on defense, and they did. Gino likes to play small ball a lot. He should try a different lineup this year. He's got size, so he should try going big. That should open up more three-point shots for UConn's great shooters, plus dominate the boards. Start AZ, Sarah, Sierra, Jana, KK, 6th, Blanca, 7th, Ashlyn, 8th, and Allie.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if the starting lineup changes at any point during the season. Obviously, it hasn't changed yet, but there's certainly a couple names you could pick and choose who to throw into the starting lineup. But I think Blanca's looked great, obviously, coming off the bench. And we talked about versus Michigan, perhaps Gino would want to go to a bigger lineup. And we didn't really see it during the Michigan game. Blanca, that was the only game so far out of the four she's played, I believe, that she didn't really find a way to make an impact into that game. But I would love to see it at some point in the season for both Sarahs to be out there and Blanca or Jana, for that matter, out there on the floor because, like you said, we certainly do have the ability to use that bigger, taller lineup out there.
Right. I just want to point this out before we head out for the day on how far now, when I say we, I'm not speaking about you and I, how far we've come, how far women's basketball overall. This speaks volumes. I told you this before. Just make sure everybody's aware of this. We have a game on Sunday, right? On Fox Sports 1. We have a game on Tuesday against South Florida on ESPN 2. There's a game against DePaul on Fox Sports 1 on Sunday, December 7th. There's a game against USC on Saturday, December 13th on Fox. And then there's a game on Peacock, Marquette and UConn. And then they have Iowa and UConn on Fox, December the 20th. Okay? Just to put it lightly, I never remember a television lineup like that when you and I first started on this podcast.
Yeah, it's definitely great to see, and I think that speaks to the levels that, women's basketball is just getting advertised more, it's getting talked about more, and rightly so. It deserves to be put into the spotlight a little bit more than what it has in the past, and I think it's great that we're starting to put a lot of these women's games, UConn and a lot of other big name teams out there on these different networks so more people can watch and enjoy these games.
All right, Ryan, that will do it. Yeah, I do this every year. I have to go off topic here. How about a personal discussion? They hardly ever get to see this. You and I just speaking about non-basketball topics. What's on the menu? Unfortunately, I will not. This is the first Thanksgiving in a long time where I actually will not be with you, partner. So I will miss you a lot on Thursday. But hey, sometimes life happens. What are you going to have on that beautiful menu? Are you looking forward to it? And what's your favorite? Drop their comments for Ryan, their favorite thing on the Thanksgiving Day menu, no matter where you go, your mom's house, your dad's house, no matter where it's at. What's Ryan's favorite thing on the menu?
Yeah, well, we always have turkey, so I know there's always a big discussion whether it's ham or turkey, but we always have the turkey. We have the mashed potatoes, the green beans, the stuffing, all the original and traditional dishes that you think of around Thanksgiving. I'm sure we'll have the pumpkin pie, but I think my personal favorite has always been the green beans. The green beans to me have always been my favorite that my grandmother makes. So shout out to my grandmother and her green beans on Thanksgiving.
All right, right. Family and friends with grins ear to ear. we'll gather together as Thanksgiving is near. And I know you have to say the same, Rye. We are so thankful for each and every one of you. That's right, all of you. And Austin, Anita, happy Thanksgiving. Rye, happy Thanksgiving. All of us from Listen Up, happy Thanksgiving. Phil and Rye on Listen Up.